Hello, everyone. We're back with another review for Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 3. Bizzy, Sam are here. Muchachos, holy shit. um, questions were answered, and yet we're still in a hush hush level. And I haven't been this mixed on philosophies in a while, man. This episode had us going, that's a good point of view, that's a point of view, that's family, but is that what the kid wants? um Shout out just to the writing, the acting. I i really hope Saul isn't as dirty as some of us think he might be, shady if you will. I think what the little girls did as young Osha and May, it is just, oh man, it was such a good episode. And stuff that trickles down to the lore of Star Wars. Busy, Sam, what's up? How we feel?
Oh, I'm taking it. Okay, I'm taking the stage. So, I'm happy with it. I've been happy with it. Honestly, like I have so many questions. I do like the fact that this is primarily just like it was just a flashback episode. It was really cool. I honestly didn't know if we were gonna see uh was it Carrie-Anne Moss again,
Yes.
and
Oh Jesus. Master Shara. I'm gonna look at it right now. Hold on a sec.
so seeing her again with a more recognizable
And it's
Tommen,
Indara.
Sindara, there we
Sindara,
go.
with a more recognizable uh Tommen was just pretty cool to see. And I just thought it was really cool. I mean, like we didn't need any like de-aging technology or anything. I just thought it was just super dope to see them with like the different haircuts did it all. I mean, they looked so much more younger with just the different haircuts, and I don't know. I was just really cool to see more of those characters specifically back in the time.
Cool.
Um, you know, yeah.
Sam.
This I think this may end up being one of my favorite episodes because one, it threw me off who these little girls are, what they are,
Yeah.
um, their philosophy, what they're being trained to be as witches,
How they were born.
the involvement of the Jedi getting into business out of fear. And I think, like you said, Ronin, like we got answers, but then we got compounded more questions by the end of this episode. I question how dirty the Jedi are. And I think that's the crazy thing. It's not as though I think they did it out of malicious. I think it was all fear. And it always is. But I just things don't line up, don't add up. But shout out to the young actors. I love this dichotomy and back and forth with their perspective of what's right and wrong. But there's still love there. It fleshes their characters out so much. I didn't think one flashback episode could add volume to both characters in such a fluid way. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
flashbacks use a lot of exposition and they try to broadcast certain stuff, but this gave us a full understanding of why both characters ended up where they are, and it's all because of a lack of understanding, a lack of information that they both have. Like for Osha, she believed not only that her sister was dead, but her sister caused the deaths of her family, and she still does. We know that something else is not there that doesn't line up. But May believed, we still don't really completely know, but that her sister was dead and was killed. So I love the mystery and the way they progress the story with this. And again, like you said, the immaculate conception of these girls, like it's so many different things that I felt like it was worth thinking about and talking about more than any episode so far.
Right. Yeah. Jodie Turner Smith being the mother of this group and whatnot, the head honcho. Um, it's all about perspective and how you feel individuals should be set in the past. And I was so torn because has to do with family and how you're raised, but then how you want to go about yourself in your life.
Yep.
And then the question kicks in of like, how young are you to make your decisions? But and how we feel about how they're young to make decisions, but also how the adults see them like, okay, they're ready to join this um, system of belief. Some might say cult, some might say faith, if you will, but like how they're ready to be indoctrinated to this way, and how you see how not everything is lining up, and how there's something that feels off for one, and that is super relatable. Again, that's why I felt bad for one of the girls because I'm right now at a point in my life where I need to see the hell. I need to see the world. I need to see the world to see who the hell I am and how that may break relationships and how others might truthfully want to help them in that journey or how much they want to just pull them into their ways because that's what they've been bred into believing. And I don't want to get it. I want people to salver the dialogue being said, but there's so much claim that was so intriguing to see how we felt about this claim and that claim. And people will be talking about this episode a lot because of how, if you're familiar with the prequels or familiar with the history of the Jedi to an extent, this puts the Jedi in another telescope, if you will, microscope, if you will.
Yeah.
Is this the way to do it? And how we said it, how like we never, some of us haven't never been okay with how the Jedi approach younglings or Padawans. I am just, I fucking dug this episode, y'all. I don't know. Do we feel like this might be the first big step of leading the downfall of the Jedi?
I mean, I think the issue, it comes down to two different things. Is what is crossing the line?
Yes.
People in different cultures get brought up different ways.
Yes.
Right? Like these two little girls were born into this situation. Like, yes, they were born into a coven of witches, essentially. In an intergalactic level, we don't know what they're trying to do. We don't know what they're, but witches are with this stigma that they are bad. That is what our perception is. But that may not be what's true. And so it's perspective versus belief. And it's kind of like, as far as the Jedi are concerned, they really shouldn't have got involved in that situation, and they had no right to project or suggest anything if they hadn't come to a conclusion. Like, it's basically you're going to somebody's backyard and saying, hey, little girl, like, is this a safe environment for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens even nowadays. Like, somebody go to somebody's neighborhood and say, like, the little sister's like, no, don't talk to them. They're the police. Like, they're gonna take you away from us. And, mommy's she's got to go to her second job. But like, no. Like, I want to eat. One sister says, hey, I want to eat some food. Mommy hasn't been bringing me food, and I don't feel comfortable. The other sister's like, no, mommy is working and she's taking care to provide for us. Who's right? If the police go there and take one of the little girls away because of child services, like, oh, this girl's malnourished. The other one needs to go too. The other little girl's like, no, I'm running away. I'm not going with this police officer. That's the same exact situation right now, like from a layered standpoint. And it's like, at the end of the day, I respect the mom for saying to Osha, make it be your decision. I love that. Whereas the other mom, like, I mean, if you talk about marriage, like, they ain't, that ain't right. Like, she's not supposed to make a decision and not talk to her significant other about it. But again, it's a toxic situation, unfortunately. But at the epicenter of it, the Jedi, in my perspective, shouldn't have done it the way they did it. And they did it in an unsanctioned way, in my opinion, because I didn't hear them saying on comms like this, that, and other. They were in the woods, bro. they were in the woods tracking and watching these people to the side. That's nah, bro. That's a trap.
And they said, "Hey, reference." And what's weird is that the witches said it. We've been banished. We're on the run. We had to move over here, and now you're coming. You're following us here. It's a fucking sticky mud, man. Being like you said, where's the right in it? And I'll say this: that the one, and again, I'm not saying this just because I've been feeling this way, but like Saul, I think he genuinely was saying, we don't take children, even though that's what they do. But it's just we're just showing them this is what we're about to do. And he tells her that you have to have the courage to make the decision. That I'm not going to force you to do it, but you have to like commit to this and seeing that this is a defining moment. And how they didn't just take the girls there. They're like, all right, we'll test them. Getting back to you. You all decide what goes down. And imagine if they flip it and they really make us not like Saul at the end. That would be bold move, Cotton. That'd be a bold move of like, oh yeah, he's not always as he says he is. And again, back to episode 2 with that Jedi meditating, how he felt the guilt and was willingly taking the poison. Says, "Forgive me."
But that's the thing. That's the thing about this episode. Guilt about what? What are you guilty about? Why would he kill himself? Mm-hmm. Why would Carrie-Anne Moss's character literally look at her and like, it's you? Like, what are you
even
doing
he
here?
was like, I've been waiting for you. You know, dude hasn't talked in like 10 years.
Right.
And they're like, oh, Saul was like, oh, don't worry, he'll talk for me. But no, he also would talk for me, which was pretty cool.
Right. So it's like, what did they do, bro?
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, I mean, you said it, Ronin, that I have a problem with this order of Jedi taking kids like that young and just taking them from their homes and putting them like, because immediately my head went down this route. And I was like, I get it. I understand it. People are conditioned and brought in a certain kind of way for this to be a lot of it. It actually works in the grand scheme of things for certain entities and nations. But for me, I don't know if I could do that. I can't. If somebody came as like my 5-year-old, it's like, hey, he is a gifted XYZ genius. Like, I think he needs to go and move away and be in the facility. And like, can we take him to the academy? We'll give you guys $1 million or XYZ, or you know, he'll be taken care of for the rest of his life, but you can't see him anymore. I'm like, hold up, homie. Nah, no. And like, oh well, you know, like we have to do it. No, you don't.
You
like,
either take the money or I'm taking the kid by force.
Right. I'm gonna take your gosh darn lightsaber and stick it in your own. But I'm saying I'm being funny, but at the same time, like I've always had like this weird feeling about that, honestly. But I don't know.
And I think it's an easy. I don't think it's an easy thing, and it also shows the perspective how past folks have had a child in them that's been chosen, and how they probably would have been conditioned to be like, okay, it's a Jedi, it's a big deal. Well, it's the you kid, you got to do it. It's a big deal, and it's a unique perspective seeing how Osha was the one who has like, I don't want to go down this route. I love y'all, but I don't feel right about going this route myself.
Right.
And again, it says a lot about those who want to see the world to find themselves. Yeah. I'm in that space right now. I need to see the world. If not, I don't know who the fuck I am. Right. So I that was very it touched home for me in that sense. And yeah, man, the witches. I am very intrigued how just the people who are like savants of the lore are going to go through this, and just how that's going to expand their mind on knowledge and perspective. And I said it to y'all, maybe they might give us a Rashomon scenario where they show us what happened in different scenarios, different perspectives. How we'll see, well, maybe we get the other half of what happened from Mai's point of view.
I think that would be a beautiful way of handling the episode, because I mean, the crazy thing about Mai in this episode, she literally tried to burn her sister alive because her sister went a different route. She's like, you ain't gonna love me or choose me, you're about to die. Like, but that fire that she did not cause
the whole thing to
that much
go.
destruction. Like there was a whole explosion and stuff that happened. It just didn't line up. And one thing that I think would undertake this series is if for some reason they try to say that that fire did cause that. It still doesn't line up
No.
because they have way too much guilt and stuff that they're holding back to make sense of it. And on top of that, why wouldn't the witches defend themselves? If they're all just down on the ground dead, what caused that? Because we didn't get to see their bodies, we didn't get to see their wounds, and by the end of it, like it was all burnt down anyway. So we there's no evidence. There's literally no evidence. So I don't know, man. I think Jedi did that joint, bro. I think Soul is dirty. I love him though. He a great character.
I don't think Soul's dirty. I think he was the one who might have wanted to diffuse a scenario that occurred, and he said, "Okay, this isn't going anywhere. Let me go at least make sure the kids are okay." Because he did try. In my sense, what I saw, my perspective, he tried saving May, and throughout what we've been seeing throughout these episodes is that he still has that guilt of like, I wish I could have saved both of them, even
Well, I
if
mean,
one didn't want to be saved.
but he wanted May to be a Jedi from the beginning. His if you really look at it, and I'm not trying to sell him as the bad guy. What he wanted both of those twins to go on the ship with him. He literally, that's what he wanted from the beginning. So yes, he could have a heart, or he just wanted both of his girls.
And also, how were these twins conceived? Yo, yo. Fuck, man. This is. I'm telling you, like, I don't think anybody can go into the show watching this episode particularly and say Leslie isn't a fan of George Lucas and what he was trying to push and experiment with his ideas, especially in the prequels. Like, I feel she took a sip of some of that Kool-Aid. I dug how the perspective, like how were these kids came to be, how they're the only kids in that planet. What do you guys feel about that?
So it's weird because their mom, who's I can't remember what kind of race she is. It's like Darth Maul, right?
Yeah.
She basically alluded that she carried them. But then the other character says, well, I made them. So is it that she took metachlorians and just I don't know. You gotta explain it to me. Y'all would have more understanding than me. But I think the thing about it is that the implications of that is that if that's the case, if that can be actually done manually, then could that have happened
later down the road?
Because I mean, from Anakin came twins, so I don't really know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Bizzy. This shit's going crazy.
It's nuts, man. And that's the one thing I was wondering, because of course, there's not many folks that were created out of thin air. So it's pretty curious to see how it all goes down. And at the end of the day, to think that maybe this could be connected to something that we already are familiar with or something that we've already seen would just be really cool to see one big connection. I know everyone's been like, oh, not everything needs to be connected. We can just get other stories. But at the end of the day, I think it would be cool. I think it would be awesome. And I feel like it's necessary to have more of an explanation on it. So I'd be down for it.
Yeah. No, this is a great episode.
An echo of what's come before, I agree. Or what will come, if you will, if you think about the timeline. Rating, y'all. How we feel? I think this, I don't know if it's my favorite episode, but I think this might be the best episode yet. How about y'all?
Busy? I think this was a great episode. I think this is my favorite episode. I don't know if it's the best yet. I feel like it's incomplete because I don't have enough context or enough information. I think once I get the full picture, if we get it from May's perspective, I think that this may end up being one of my favorites on top of whatever they explain all this. So, nah, this was really good. I loved so much about how much I had to think in this and how many different perspectives that I had to kind of deal with emotionally through it. So yeah. So A plus for me, actually.
I'm gonna go A as well. Bizzy, what about you?
I think I'm gonna give it an A. I really did like that we were primarily focusing on the past of what happened. Considering the first two episodes, with the first episode specifically, we were arguing if they were even a set of twins.
Yep.
You know, and to finally see some, like, a little bit of an explanation,
Concrete
because
evidence.
part of me thought maybe this woman is a friggin' freak and she has two personalities. But
Jesus.
to see how they kind of were raised and a little more about their past is pretty interesting, and it gets me really excited for future episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Folks, that's gonna be it for our review of episode 3, The Acolyte. Muchachos, thank you so much for joining me. Bizzy, where can people find you?
Bizzy Braun everywhere, Bizzy Reactions on Instagram, and TeamJVS doing reviews, and on Ronin's channel doing reactions.
Yeah.
Sir.
You can find me at Ronin Unchained on YouTube, socials. I'm gonna be covering the hell out of this show, and expect a lot of stuff coming down the road, Star Wars related. There's a lot of stuff coming down the road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
So
you can find both of us here on TeamJVS covering some shows here and there. Let's leave it at that.
Sam, where can we find you?
I mean, I don't know. Bye, guys. Bye. The boy.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing